Words of Dak Prescott. Here we go. Let's talk right now about two of the best quarterbacks in the 2024 class. Dylan Raiola, DJ Lagway. It's like a ship passing in the night. One's getting better, one's regressing. We look at Dylan Raiola. Let's first, let's talk about DJ Lagway. This guy out of Houston, I rated him probably as like a 94, 95. Great leadership qualities, has a big enough arm, but the arm strength's even impressed me. His body is NFL ready, big kid. And the mobility is fantastic with Lagway. The mobility is absolutely awesome. And he's really like Tim Tebow to Urban. Now, I'm not saying that Lagway's going to win natties like Urban. I'm not saying that Lagway, or like Tebow, I'm not saying Lagway's even going to win a Heisman like Tim Tebow. I mean, Tim Tebow, I believe, was a Heisman finalist and won a Heisman, won 2 national championships, one where he was, I think, the primary quarterback. Well, he beat Oklahoma. Whatever year did Timmy win the Heisman? Or did he win a national championship? It was with Aaron Hernandez. I know Urban won 2 at Florida. It's pissing me off that I do not know the last team that they beat for the Natty. Going to go back and look at that. But Lagway's balling, and Lagway's going to keep Billy's job, and Austin Armstrong's finding his footing with this young staff. And again, Austin Armstrong was the bright spot of Southern Miss. Alabama wanted him to maybe be a DC, along with the guy last year, the older DC that they actually got rid of, who's a freaking lifer in the business, was from Tennessee. Now they got like Kane Womack, so now the thing is totally different. But Kevin Steele was the DC, and they wanted Austin. But now Austin is at Florida with Billy, and this defense is getting rolling. They're very young on defense. The reason why I'm so confident about Billy Napier is a couple of reasons. I mean, A&M ended up being really good. Marcel Reed ended up being a big-time quarterback. Miami was shot out of a cannon to play against Florida, and the way they started the season was frankly really, really poor. I mean, for them to get housed by Miami, for them to lose to A&M, like this is year 3 at this point, but the way that they've responded, I mean, they killed Kentucky. They beat LSU at home. They roll UCF. They tear them a new one, UCF. And UCF is a decent club. So Florida's just played really consistently, and they haven't had Graham Mertz and they haven't had DJ Lagway. And against Texas, that's a one-off. That's on the road with a dead third-string quarterback. And I don't mean to say that Warner's just unfortunately young, all right? And he's just not the level of DJ Lagway. So I meant that as in, like, they're really screwed. That's what I meant. So everybody understands that. Just an incredible. So DJ Lagway balled against LSU. They had the ball 20 minutes in time. The guy can make every throw. Unbelievable leader. Has next level whip and arm strength. Can run it. Dual threat. Mobile. Has the total package. Going to be an NFL guy, knock on wood, if he stays healthy. The guy is destined to be a top-end NFL starter. He'll be in the Heisman conversation. It depends what they put at receiver around him. It depends how the defense plays. But the guy is going to be one of the top quarterbacks drafted in the next few years. Like, he's a home run. They totally hit on him. USC tried to get him, and they did the damn thing. Let's look at Nebraska's problem. Nebraska and Dylan's problem is Marcus Satterfield, when he was at, just like Phil Longo at DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown, okay? So when he was hired at Wisconsin a couple of years ago, what did I say? What was the common theme of people that really followed college football? Was, what the F is Wisconsin trying to do with this air raid offensive coordinator who at North Carolina was okay with Drake May, and had all these weapons with Jordan Teamu at Ole Miss and didn't even do that much. Like it's crazy that you have A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf on a college team. I think you even have Elijah Moore as well. And you don't even do all that well. I guess it was the Matt Luke era. But I knew it would be a freaking disaster. And then Marcus Satterfield, what happened after Satterfield left? They put up 60 points against Tennessee, South Carolina. So, this guy Satterfield, even with Spencer Rattler, Satterfield's a great guy. Western Carolina guy. He's just salt of the earth. He's a great, great dude. Love Marcus Satterfield. Love him. Has all the morals, has all the character. Great, great guy. He's just a really good tight ends coach. He's a really good, decent quarterback coach, great tight end coach. As a play caller, he's okay, and not even that great. And that was my concern with Sat. Now, I think Holgorsen could be okay, but again, what's up with Dana? He's got the hair. He's going crazy. We're a little bit in our 50s with Dana, and Dana's looking great, but Dana was at Houston a while, at West Virginia. I thought he'd take a year off. Now he's popping in, and we're ready to roll with Dana. It's wow. I thought that Dana was going to help out, with Sonny Dykes and those guys over in Fort Worth. I thought that that's where he was at, and now he's at Nebraska. But this offense, man, Emmett needs to be given the keys to this offense. The offense needs to run through Emmett Johnson. Got some bad injuries on the offensive line. Got some bad injuries at tackle. But Thomas, the problem is the tight end's your best friend. And Fedoni, they never utilize him down the field. And Thomas just doesn't have the wiggle right now. I pray that Thomas can eventually be 80% of what he was coming out of high school, where he was a dual sport athlete, one of the best tight ends in the country at Council Bluffs. But he was a freaking monster, man. 6'7", LSU wanted him. Nebraska won that battle. Then 2 injuries later, it's ACL later. It's man, this guy, his knees, his legs, it's just brutal. That's Tommy F, man. It's just been a really tough go for Fedoni, for the offensive staff. But Dylan Raiola, man, Dylan was the guy. Dylan was the guy. I had Dylan marked higher than Lagway. I had Dylan as my highest-ranked quarterback I ever watched in high school ball. Dylan never threw a pick. Dylan would try these throws down the sidelines, which were incredible. Dylan needs to air the F out of the football. Dylan needs to go into FU mode. Dylan needs to hit Lloyd, and Dylan needs to drive some of these balls. He hangs the ball. He's all about touch and this fancy stuff. Dylan's got to say F you, and he's got to drive some balls into tight coverage. Dylan needs to literally learn to throw with extreme velocity across the middle of the field. That is they don't attack the damn middle of the field. It's either screens or throwing lobs down the boundary to freaking Nayor and Banks. All right? Matt Rhule, here's what no one wants to say about Matt Rhule. He won in the Big 12 at Baylor, okay? But the Big 12, if you get the right coach and you deal, you can be like Deion Sanders, you can be like Dillingham, you could be really good and win in the Big 12 quickly. At Texas, he was great, but guess what? The games moved towards an offensive style, and he's a defensive style guy. He's about tackling, he's about accountability, he's about linebacker play. Who are the best coaches in the biz, man? It's Lincoln Riley. It's these coaches that coach offensive football, that have an ability to see quarterback, that have an ability to roll with offense and talent. Matt Rhule in Carolina, man, he had Baker and Sam, the right quarterbacks. Hired Joe Brady, was too young, failed. Tried to hire Ben McAdoo, who was absolute dog crap as a head coach. Terrible as a coordinator as well. That offense was abysmal. And you had Baker Mayfield. You couldn't draft wide receiver. What's the problem at Nebraska? It's offense. It's been 6 or 7 years since Matty Rhule has had consistent offense. So Dylan stayed loyal to Nebraska. Dylan's getting playing time at Nebraska, which is more than ever freshman could say. He's going through a coordinator change, which you're going to have to do. He's going through adversity. But you got to get Dillon some weapons, man. It's just like Penn State. They don't have receivers at Penn State. They don't have receivers at Nebraska. The offense is getting a little bit better. Again, you got to commit to Emmett. Emmett's the fastest kid in the running back room. Emmett is explosive play waiting to happen. Emmett needs reps, man. You know, Emmett was dominant in high school, but Emmett's like a straight line runner. Like, you got to get Emmett out on the perimeter. You got to give Emmett some chances. You can't be rotating the damn backs like it's like we're rotating Christmas, ornaments on a Christmas tree. You can't be changing backs like you're changing tires, or you can't be changing backs like you're changing spoons eating cereal. I mean, so how about that last analogy? Absolutely out of left field. Absolutely wild analogy. I was just trying to get crazier and crazier. And again, I'm not writing out the show right now. So Nebraska, man, they got to find something. Lagway is the truth. Like, I might be wrong on picking Raiola over Lagway. Like, I'll admit when I'm wrong about stuff, guys, all right? Like, Caleb Williams, thought Caleb would be incredible. Had Bo Nix being a really good quarterback, had Penix being really good. Is Drake May or Jaden Daniels going to surprise me? But that's Nebraska. That's Florida right now. A lot of work needs to be done in Nebraska.